So most dealers have three challenges that keep them from being able to become recognized, remembered, and the number one choice for buyers in their market. The first challenge is that they use OEM or vendor templates, or even worse, AI templates to design their ads. And this often causes dealers to get lost in the sea of sameness while their competitors continue to attract the customers that they really want. In our experience, to overcome this, you need to build advertising around what makes your dealership unique, design creative that demands attention, and run sales events that move buyers from your market into your showroom. So what's really happening for most dealers is that their ads look like every other dealership's ads. The same stock footage, the same year-end blowout headline, the same promotional language. The manufacturer's job is to sell the brand, and the dealer's job is to sell their store. So if you're using these templates, they're built for that first job and not really the second. They're not doing a great job of selling the dealership store. So what the dealerships think when they see these templates and they use them, wow, this ad looks professional. It does exactly what I want it to do, which is great, but it also looks like the three competitors that are running the same templated ad every single week. So what dealers are typically overlooking is that if a buyer in your market can't identify your dealership from your ads, then you really have no brand awareness. You're advertising for the category and not for your dealership. Let me tell you a story about how this works in practice. There was a new dealership out in Nebraska that we were doing some work for, and all of their actual TV spots looked exactly the same as their competitors. They were using the same kind of running footage, the same offers, and nothing really stuck out. So what we did was pull their competitors' ads and their ads, and we removed the logos and we removed the audio, and they could not distinguish the differences. They both just looked like that branded ads. So what the problem there is that they were just improving the brand and not really improving their store. So I challenge each of my dealers to watch their last three ads with the sound off, logo covered. If a buyer couldn't identify it as your dealership, that kind of tells you where your money's going. The shift that's needed for dealerships is that you need to answer three questions with your advertising. You need to answer why buy, why you, and why now. The most important part, and I think the hardest part, is the why you. The templates that the manufacturers use or AI uses really just answer why buy. They don't answer the last two questions. Your store has a personality, a reputation, and a reason why people choose you, and that has to show up in the creative every time you put something out. So what typically gets in the way from dealers accomplishing answering those three questions is that custom creative costs time and it costs money. Templates are just fast and cheap, or even free in some cases, so most dealerships just jump on them. The false economy looks like savings until you realize your brand has no differentiation in the market. The belief or habit that really has to change for dealers is that saying that you look like a legitimate car dealership isn't enough. In a competitive market, blending in is functionally the same as being invisible. If you are able to create this custom creative and answer those three questions, why buy, why you, and why now, with each ad you're putting out, what's going to happen is that customers, when they enter the market, that moment of truth when they decide, I think I need a new car, you're going to be the name that comes to mind when a buyer in your territory is ready to make that decision. And then what really happens is, as you advertise, that equity starts accumulating, right? So every time you put an ad out, you're building on that messaging and that brand for your store, or that promise, why you, that you've already established. When you put a templated ad out that looks like everyone else's, people start just recognizing it instantly and saying, I'm just going to ignore this, and start just zeroing through it and skipping it as soon as they see it, right? Every templated ad resets your brand back to zero and is easily skipped. Every unique ad that's about your dealership builds on the last one. So your equity starts accumulating for your advertising. If you don't fix this, if a dealership keeps putting out these templated ads and it goes unaddressed, that dealership is going to be spending money that is building awareness for the OEM, right? For Ford, for Chevy, for Nissan, for Toyota, and just the general automotive category, but not your specific store. And so that's just going to be wasted money going out the door.